In the bustling heart of Lahore, where bazaars hummed and chai stalls never truly rested, lived a man named Farhan. He wasn't famous or powerful, just a mid-level administrator at a local government office. On paper, Farhan was unremarkable, but those who knew him closely would call him safest hands in the building. If something needed handling quietly, efficiently, and without leaving a trace, it went to Farhan. Farhan had one defining trait: he hated confrontation. He was the kind of man who would rather suffer in silence than say something uncomfortable. He wasn't dishonest by nature, but in trying to keep everyone happy, he often twisted the truth just enough to make things smooth. A tiny exaggeration here, a small omission there, never anything truly wrong, as he told himself. But the line between a white lie and a dangerous one is often invisible, until it's too late. His career changed one rainy July afternoon. The city was flooded, traffic was choking the streets, and tempers were high. Farhan's office received a set of files marked urgent, contracts for the approval of a housing project in the outskirts of Lahore. These weren't just any contracts. They were for Dream Haven, a luxury colony being marketed as Pakistan's first self-sustainable smart housing society. Behind the glamour were powerful political and business forces, all eager to push it through. Farhan's role? Verify land clearance and environmental reports. A simple formality. But when he opened the attached inspection files, his face paled. The reports had been altered. Where there were supposed to be wetlands, the maps showed dry land. Forested zones were marked as clear for development. The signature of the environmental officer, a woman named Rukhsana Malik, looked copy-pasted. Farhan's hands trembled. If these falsified reports were approved, not only would thousands of families be at risk from potential flooding, but hundreds of acres of protected land would be illegally destroyed. He called his supervisor, Walid, a man well known for his clean suits and unclear ethics. These documents, Farhan said cautiously, they're not right. I think they've been doctored. Walid leaned forward, voice cold. You think too much. Just stamp it. Farhan hesitated. But I said stamp it. This comes from above. Farhan looked at the glowing red stamp in his drawer. If he refused, he knew what would happen. He'd be transferred. Or worse, maybe accused of negligence. Maybe pushed out entirely. So, he did what he always did when cornered. He told himself a story. I'm just a cog in the system. Someone else would do it anyway. Maybe they're right. Maybe the data isn't that bad. And he stamped it. 6 months passed. The Dream Haven project launched with great fanfare. Ads flooded television and social media. Booking offices overflowed with hopeful families, middle-class couples investing their life savings for a home in the promised, flood-free future. And for a while it worked. Construction boomed. People smiled. Farhan got a promotion. No one asked questions. Until the monsoon arrived. In a single night of heavy rain, the outskirts of Lahore drowned. The natural water channels, the ones Farhan had seen on the original maps, had been blocked to make way for the colony. Water had nowhere to go. It surged into half-built houses, into basements, into dreams. 8 people died. Dozens injured. Hundreds displaced. The videos went viral. Questions were raised. Who approved this? Who signed off on the inspection? The department began a quiet internal probe. Farhan's name surfaced again and again. His signature was on every clearance. He didn't sleep that night. Or the next. The truth, buried so long under his careful silence, began to surface like floodwater. He thought of his son, barely 10, asking once, Abu, what do you do at work? And Farhan had replied proudly, I make sure things are done the right way. What would he say now? A week later, he received an official letter. He was being suspended pending investigation. His family was devastated. Neighbors whispered. His wife cried in silence. His son stopped looking him in the eye. Farhan sat in his living room, alone, holding the red stamp that had started it all. It had once felt like a symbol of control. Now it felt like a weapon. Then came the unexpected. He received a call from Rukhsana Malik, the environmental officer whose forged signature he had overlooked. I know what they did, she said quietly. They forced me out when I refused to sign. I have emails. Originals. Records. But I was scared. Like you were. Farhan's breath caught. Why are you calling now? Because it's not too late for either of us to fix what we broke. Together, they compiled the evidence. Internal emails. Draft. Reports. Timeline notes. They approached a local journalist known for fearless reporting. Within days, a full exposé aired. The Dream Haven disaster, how greed flooded lives. Public outrage exploded. Politicians tried to deflect blame. Arrests were made, including Walid and 2 corporate execs. The housing project was halted. And Farhan? He wasn't hailed a hero. No awards came. No medals. But his suspension was lifted. And more importantly, something far deeper changed. He walked back into his office weeks later, not with pride, but with resolve. The red stamp still sat in his drawer. But this time, it would not move without truth behind it.